Good evening, everybody. Tonight, we have the regular meeting of the School Committee of the Town of Foxborough. It is our May 21st, 2018. We are beginning at 6 p.m. Because of the town meeting continuance that is scheduled at 7:30. So we're going to try to get through our entire agenda and adjourn to town meeting. Before I read the agenda, I did want to take a brief moment to offer our deepest sympathy and condolences both to the families of the victims in our neighboring Stoughton community, and also of the victims of the Santa Fe High School tragedy last Friday. If we could just take a moment and bow our heads. Thank you. I also would like to, before we begin, welcome Richard Pearson to our table. We have a new school committee member with us tonight, and welcome, Richard.
Thank you.
Happy to have you.
Thank you very much.
Would you like to take a minute to tell anyone a little bit about yourself?
Well, sure. I'm really excited to be here. I will say I'm excited to sit on this side for the first time in my life in Foxborough, having sat on the student side for many years a while ago, and sat on the assistant principal side presenting to school committee for many years. So this is a great opportunity for me. I'm really pleased and appreciative of the opportunity the town's given me and everyone voting for me. And thank you all for your support. I'm really excited to get back. So thanks.
We are very happy to have you, Richard. I'd also like to take a quick minute to thank everybody who came out and participated in the election, all the other candidates, and I am also delighted to be reelected for another 3 years to the board. So I look forward to another 3 years, and I appreciate that. And one more thank you just to everyone who came out last Monday at town meeting and supported our school budget and our school CIP budget, and also the Article 6 on the new track and bleachers. Hopefully we can complete everything tonight and move forward with all of those endeavors. Now, to get down to business, our agenda for tonight is 6 o'clock, school committee reorganization, 6:15 visitors, 6:20 approval of minutes, 6:25, we have a great teaching and learning highlight, the Burrell School production of Madagascar, a musical adventure with Ms. McCarthy, Ms. St. Germain, Ms. Washburn, and some wonderful Burrell Elementary student actors. 6:45, we're going to discuss FHS overnight travel proposal for the music department trip to Australia in July of 2019 with Ms. Myers-Pacla and Ms. Tadoldi. At 7, we will have the annual FHS Guidance Services update with Ms. Myers-Pacla and Ms. White, and then hopefully we will have concluded our business, and at 7:25 we will adjourn to town meeting. So, our first order of business is our school committee reorganization. We all have the policy in our packets. I don't think there's really any need to read it, especially since we're a little bit short on time this evening, but if there are any questions before we begin. All right, so briefly, this is our annual reorganization of our school committee leadership. The way it proceeds is I will ask for nominations. Nominations do not need a second for the office of chair, and then we will elect a new chair by roll call vote. And then the new chairman will take over the meeting, and once we finish electing a vice chair, then we will proceed with regular school committee business. Okay. Does anybody want to add anything to that? All right. All right. Are there any nominations for the office of chair? Chris.
I nominate Beverly Lord.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? All right, then. Let's take a roll call vote. Bev?
Yes, Beverly Lord.
Richard?
Yes, Beverly Lord.
Marilyn?
Yes, Beverly Lord.
Chris?
Yes.
And I vote aye as well. 5 ayes. Congratulations, Bevy. You're the new chair.
Oh, I don't need to take that one again.
Send that to Bev.
Thank you very much, everyone. And I personally would like to say congratulations to Tina on your reelection. And I would like to say congratulations for your first time here with us. And I would also like to mention, I'm also very proud of the new member for the BOS, both of whom, Richard and Leah, are Foxborough High School graduates. So we produce beautiful people out of this system. Nominations are now open for vice chair. I would like to nominate Chris Connell. Are there any others? Marilyn? For roll
Yes.
call?
For Chris Conley.
Chris?
Yes.
Tina?
Aye, yes.
Yes.
And yes from the chair. Congratulations, Chris.
Thank you.
Visitors, do we have any visitors? All right, approval of minutes. Any additions or corrections?
Excuse me, on page 3, there's just a grammatical error. Under the FY 18 budget update, the second paragraph, the first line, it says, the second sentence, he discussed the purchase, I think there should be an of, the purchase of sewer rights. There, other than that, I don't have any changes.
Of sewer rights.
Yes. Other than that, I have no other objection.
Would anyone like to,
I move to
Motion.
approve the minutes of April 23rd
as amended?
as amended.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I'm abstaining.
I'm abstaining as well.
So that's 302. All right, our special meeting of May 8 at the Boyden Library for the purpose of explaining to the community the update on the borough renovation project. Any additions or corrections?
I move to accept the minutes from May 8th special meeting at the library as presented.
Second.
A vote? All in favor? 4-4. Mr. Conley?
Abstain.
4-0, 1 abstention. Overnight travel. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead. Teaching and learning highlights, and we should be delighted in just a moment.
We'll give you a little bit of background.
I think we would love that.
So super excited to have the Borough Elementary School actors with us here from their production of Madagascar. I saw the Saturday afternoon show and was thoroughly impressed with all of their hard work. So I'd like to invite them up to the guest table. Ms. McCarthy, their principal, is here, as well as our production managers, assistants, and all those. And
This is
it
exciting.
really could not have been done without the help of so many other parents as well. If you want to grab chairs and come up.
Do you want them to do their number first?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Love for you to do your number first.
Absolutely.
All primed.
Can the camera get them over there if they're over there?
That camera can get them.
I'll watch him.
Well, not, yeah, I think they're gonna.
They're gonna do it over there? Bill wants the front row seat. You pay extra for those.
Oh, no, yeah, but Bill's gonna get, he has a front row seat over there. Yeah, that's where the a cappella choir sang, remember when they came? And the ukuleles. Oh, suspense.
Is it restarted? Oh, snap, can you restart it? I thought we were still getting the Wi-Fi set up. So tender and juicy. If only I could have one bite. There's only one thing I really want, one thing I really need. I gotta have steak. Give me steak. Steak. Give me steak. Steak. Yeah, I gotta love, I must confess. Oh, my love for me is what I profess. Don't wanna put you in distress, but I'm hungry. He's hungry. I got an appetite for lunch buffet. Oh yeah, a porterhouse cooked anyway. We'll do it up. And on the side of my breakfast toast, I want a rump roast. I've tasted veggies from coast to coast. Let me tell you what I love the most. Steak is what I crave. There ain't no way to substitute. No passion fruit can't compare to extra rare. Only steak and say cheese. No creme brulee as that bechet or can replace a filet mignon or Chateaubriand. Hey, how's it going, fellas? You're leading me tonight. Please eat us. We're uncut, so don't freeze us. You know you want us fresh. Oh yeah. Marinated, tenderized, add a little zest, but don't eat too fast, so you can digest. I want some beef, and want it now. I don't eat pie, and I don't want cake. I want steak, that's what I crave. There ain't no way to substitute. No passion fruit can't compare to extra rare. Only steak and say cheese. No creme brulee or cherry pie can satisfy. When I'm alone at night and I dream of my steak.
They made me hungry. You guys want to go out for steak?
Are they not so impressive?
That's
That was awesome.
very
Great job, guys.
Yes, right up here at our guest table.
How cute was that?
That's
And
Miss
with
those
Ms.
days.
Washburn and Miss St. Germain.
Oh, wait.
So why don't we start off by having you tell us your name and your grade. So that way we've got a little bit of a flavor. You like that? Who's sitting here?
Bada boom.
Addie, and I'm a fourth grader. I'm Ava, and I'm in fourth grade.
I'm Mia, and I'm in fourth grade.
I'm Addie, and I'm in third grade.
I'm JJ, and I'm in fourth grade.
I'm Reese, and I'm in fourth grade.
So you want to tell us a little bit about the production and preparing for it?
Well, it was a lot of work, but it really paid off.
And it was fun.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
What was the best part?
Shows.
Yeah, that feeling of the feeling of first walking on stage in front of all those people. I always loved the feeling.
You like that? Were you nervous before you walked on stage?
Oh yeah, I'm always nervous before a show, but once I walk on stage, it all goes away, and I just love it so much.
How many shows have you done?
This is my third, I think.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, great job.
Was this anyone's first show?
It was
get
my
it.
first time in the school. So.
First time in school?
Nice.
You gotta stick with it?
So what was some of your favorite, maybe your favorite song from the production that you enjoyed the most as
This
far as
song.
performing?
This one?
Together forever.
Yeah.
Best friends.
Best friends and together. Mistake.
What about learning the lyrics to the songs or learning your lines? Was that challenging, or did you find that not
It was
challenging?
difficult, but at the end it felt really easy.
Yeah. In the beginning, it's a little hard, but once you
Yeah.
get used to it, it gets easier.
What about from the beginning of practices to the production this weekend? Did you feel like you were going to pull it off, or were you nervous about the production?
It was very
nervous.
wobbly. Like, the practice before the last practice, no one knew their lines. It was just all a big mess. But then the last practice, everyone knew their lines. So I was really happy. It was like, at first, no way. But at like the very last practice, yes.
The first we didn't even know our lines. Like the
know.
first practice we were just in the book and we're learning our lines.
How many people were in the entire production?
46.
Wow. That's a great undertaking. Congratulations.
Some new gray hairs over there, ladies?
We're really tired.
But they were worth it. Yeah.
Totally worth it.
And I just want to say, the performers were outstanding, but Darissa St. Germain, Karen Washburn as the directors were great, thanks to Laura, and the parent volunteers, I mean, with the costumes and the props and everything, so it was amazing, team effort.
Pretty cool.
I want to tell you guys a little secret. Back when I have two kids, one's 25, 25 and 20. And when they went to the Borough, there was no play. So when I was in the PTO, I asked them to put a play together, and Laura Canfield stepped forward, and I don't know who it was the first year who did it with her, one of the teachers. And it's been there since then. So the plays started way back then. Yeah,
remember the first
I didn't
play?
perform. I know my son was in the Dalmatians and Aristocats. I don't know which one was the first one. You too. Yeah. Was that the first one? Or was it one? I think it might have been.
Yeah, I think.
My daughter was in Alice.
And a Jungle Book before.
Oh, yes. So it was when Juliet was still up. It was my gap year.
Your gap year.
That started. Well, I had one gap year. So I'm really excited it's still going on over there. Makes me very happy. Don't stop.
Darissa and Karen, what about from your perspective as far as watching all of your actors and from all the hard work? What are some of the things that you noticed with all of the kids?
I think it's great because we get to see all of our students that we normally see during the day in a different light. Getting to know them in rehearsals is very different than getting to know them in a classroom situation. We become closer with them, and I love that. And like they all said, production week was sort of magical to watch because they're right. Nothing came together at the beginning of the week. The night before the show, I think everybody felt confident. They were all proud of themselves, and it was just a magical moment.
It was. And I had no idea how much work went into this. Like, I would always sit in the audience and watch, and now I'm just like, wow. It's really amazing.
I think you guys did an excellent job up there. Very proud of you.
Thank you for coming to entertain us tonight. It's more fun than a regular meeting.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for showing us about what hard work is. It's hard work to go to school all day, then stay after school, come together as a group of friends, and that's really one of the great outgrowths of this, is just that hard work together and having the team together. So thanks for being part of a great team.
You're welcome.
It's cool to see your passion. I can't wait to see you, most of you next year at the Ahern, and then you the following year. We'll see what you do. How many people are going to participate next year? All of you?
Yeah.
You'll go to tryouts?
Up the middle school.
Excellent.
Can't wait to see what you do. Takes a lot of guts to get up and sing. I'm impressed.
Sure does. Very impressive.
Thank
you.
Thanks for coming, guys. Nice seeing you guys.
no.
Very good.
Yale Whiffenpoof. Maybe he'll be a Yale Whiffenpoof someday.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that now, let alone 4th grade.
I know I couldn't. I'm more than twice your age. So there you go, Matt. That was impressive.
All righty. That's great. We now would like to invite Mrs. Myers-Packler and Ms. Tadoli. And I had great delight reading your itinerary. And it gave exactly the time you were leaving, the travel time, Sydney, Perth, and then you disappeared. You're not coming home. I saw no major reference about when you'd be
There is
arriving.
the return flight to Boston on the 30th.
Well, it was not mentioned here, so I didn't know if you were going to stay.
No. So basically, we're here. Amy's letter is beautiful, actually, for the reasoning for us to want to go over to Australia. But as you know, we have a long relationship. 2011 was the first visit that the Hale School in Perth, Australia did with us, and they came over and visited us, and they've been here twice now, and have extended the invite to us multiple times to go, and I decided that we would try to pursue that this year, if possible. So I reached out to a few travel agencies and actually found this one who's they're actually in Australia, which is nice because they know they're in that area. And they've put together a trip for us that starts in Sydney, which will allow us to do a lot of cultural sightseeing. Basically, all the Sydney things are in that itinerary there. Also allow us to get accustomed to the time change. And do some trips, do the Sydney Conservatory, which is one of the major musical venues in the world. And then once we've done all of that, the cultural portion of that, then we would go over to Perth and spend some time over with the boys at the Hale School. And at that point, we would do homestays with their families, and they have quite a lineup for us, a pretty detailed schedule for them there, and we would be attending rehearsals, doing workshops along with our students and music staff, doing performances there, and then actually traveling to going a little bit further north to a sort of for kind of a rural setting where we would actually be putting on a concert for their community. It's a very small town, and the Hale School does this traditionally every year, and we would just be a part of that with them, and then make our way back to Hale, and then eventually our way back to Boston. So that's the basic outline of this trip, and what questions do you have for me? Kami, do you want to talk a little bit about when the Hale students come over here, what it looks like and the benefits to our students? And some may have been to the concert, but kind of give a little bit more of what it was like here as far as replicating that.
Sure. So when they come and visit us, they actually loved coming to an American school. When they came over there, they were like, oh, they served hot dogs in the cafeteria and had yellow school buses, what we see in the movies. So for them, it was like this cool cultural exchange, and I think we would see that certainly on our end. But when they come and visit us, they immerse in our classes, and their faculty have learned a lot from us. They've even told us that. So actually, the way Australia does music is more of a European way, which is very it's a non-performing ensemble-based music education, which is the opposite of American music education. And they loved that model so much that they have brought that over to Australia. And they're even saying that they don't have ensembles during the day, or they didn't at that point. It was all after school, before school. And they've brought that into their model at Hale, and actually it's surfaced into other surrounding areas. So our small Foxborough, Massachusetts, is actually making music education in Australia different, and making an impact on them, which is pretty cool. But when they're here, the boys are with us and in these classrooms, and they're interacting with each other, and we're learning from each other, and their musicians are very good. They're really strong musicians. So it's great for our students to be around other really excellent musicians, and their staff they're wonderful, and
we've learned a lot from them, and they've learned a lot from us. So we would hope that that's what it would look like if we were to go over and visit them in Perth.
So this is the first time we're going over there, is that correct? Which I think is fabulous, because all the things I've heard about this since it began was this musical exchange and this dialogue with them learning from us and us learning from them. And I think it's a really great opportunity for you to kind of reach out and take the dive into a long, extended trip like this with the kids, which isn't a simple endeavor for anyone to take students on a program of this magnitude. And I think it's going to have great value for the kids, but I also think it's a great offer back to the Hale musicians that have come over here twice. So thanks for embarking on that and taking the kids with you and being part of that. That musical dialogue's huge.
Yes. And welcome to the board, by the way.
Thanks.
Nice to see you.
And a little bit on the history too.
Sure.
The boys, the students have come twice, but their music teachers actually came in between as well,
I forgot about
to learn again from here. And I've loved my conversations with them. They've usually been short and in between because they're so busy with everything that they're doing during the day. But I said to them, how did you find us? You know, how did that come about? And they said they started looking at music and music in the United States and schools in the United States that offered music. And they said Foxborough kept popping up and popping up and popping up just because of where our kids have performed and what they have done. Ellington was a major pop-up because we've got such a long history there. But just in the other programs that we have been a part of across the country. And I was so taken back by that, thinking here, you know, halfway around the world. And of course, with the internet and everything else, it's a very small world that we do live in. But just so exciting that way. And I think the give and take and, you know, a component of this which is in there is that it is with homestay. And there isn't a better opportunity for somebody to learn about a culture or to learn about another way of life than to have that opportunity to really immerse yourself with a family. So again, a trip that's got some cost to it, but certainly another way of helping with that a bit is by doing that family homestay portion of it as well too. So
The homestays are invaluable, as we know from our exchanges.
yes.
Chris?
What grades would this be open for?
So this is grades 9 through 12, and this would be our select ensemble. These are all auditioned ensembles. Generally, it's primarily made up of older students, so you would see a higher rate of probably 11th and 12th graders in these ensembles, but it is open to 9 through 12, depending on if they audition and get into the group.
The 12th graders would have graduated?
Correct.
Okay. And then what is the cost for it?
So I'm estimating right now about $5,500.
Okay, and you could do fundraising and everything?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what sort of the next step would be, and I understand that there may not be a vote this evening, but would be for me to have a parent meeting and explain to them exactly what we're looking to do, and just to see what their level of interest would be in terms of fundraising and how we would go about that, and if this would actually, there would be enough interest. You know, it wouldn't be pressuring anyone to go. It's not mandatory by any means. God bless you. It's an opportunity we're offering, and if the students would like to join us, I'm willing to do the work to take them there. So that's kind of would be the next step with that.
So
Sure.
the wind ensemble isn't going because there's no wind ensemble to match, right, in Australia? Is it just
So it'd be the jazz ensemble, the chamber orchestra, and the jazz choir.
Okay.
How many are you willing to take?
So that would be approximately 40 students.
Tina?
I think it's an incredible opportunity. I think it's exciting. I think it is wonderful that it's in July so that, you know, we have a greater length of time for you all to go. They're not missing school. This will be such an enriching experience for all. I do think that our friends at the Hale School might be able to give us some guidance on, because it is such a great distance and much further than our trips to Europe or to Washington, D.C. or Baltimore, in terms of any particular, it's the legal mind, but the releases we might need and the different things in case there were medical attention needed for a student, and just to make sure, I know we'll, you know, delve into the particulars as we've got plenty of time to plan for it, but this is a little bit further outside, further afield than some of our other trips have been.
Yes.
So I think it might necessitate an extra level of detail
Yep.
in that area. You know, our regular permission slips just aren't going to cut it. So, but I know you'll do the work on that. But I think it's a great opportunity for the students. I really do. Thank you.
Are you looking for a vote that we accept this? We're
I mean, yes, because I know
We need to move forward.
Because I know Tina's saying like it takes a lot of work, and I'm like,
Well-
yes, and I'm not going to see the kids again probably until the end of June, and then in September I don't want to be like, I need $1,000 from you for a deposit. So as much sort of a headway as I can get, and I have yet to meet with. This is all sort of rumor right now. I've yet to actually formally meet with parents and students, so I would love to be able to have that opportunity to have that meeting.
Absolutely.
With
and
the
then-
basketball trip, excuse me, Kimmy.
Sure.
With the basketball trip, Coach Gibbs came to us a full year, you know, in advance, and we voted a preliminary approval so that he could get started with the work and the
Absolutely.
fundraising.
I think we
And
should
perhaps
do
we should
that.
do that tonight, and then when Kimmy gets a little further down the road with a plan, you know, we can give it, I think we gave it official approval in, you know, that next December when Diana came with all of the, like next December, we could give it the official
plan.
approval for the overnight travel for that year. But we could do a preliminary approval that would allow Cammy to get
So
going.
I would like a motion.
Excuse me, I think you're gonna have to do it before that, though, because of
I
plane
need to
tickets
book
and everything else
flights.
like
Oh, you're
that.
gonna have to
Oh,
do it.
yeah,
wait
fine.
that
Yeah,
long.
right.
It will be December.
Right. So I think to the point to where it is a far distance to travel further than the
Yeah.
Europe exchanges and so forth, but the amount of time that it's going to take, the deposits, and again, the interest level, to see what the
Right.
interest is, to see if it really is viable for students. You know, it might be to have a parent meeting between now and our next school committee meeting,
Yeah.
and then come back to the next school
That
committee
might be a
meeting to
very good
have
idea.
the formal vote, have a preliminary vote this evening, so that way you can say that it has been preliminary approved through school committee, provide information, and then you would be able to come back with feedback from parents to
Right.
share with us at the next meeting as well.
I think it's very important you have that meeting as soon as possible.
That's
And just given the time frame, if it isn't the next meeting, which is 2 weeks, perhaps
It'll be
another
the
one
4th of
more
June.
out.
There's
another
2
one
more
in June.
meetings in June, the 4th and
I'm
then
just
the
saying, just in
18th.
case for
No,
planning
d-
purposes on the music end of it, for trying to get that
But
meeting together.
I would like to see the meeting happen before the next school committee meeting, if possible, so you are getting a feel.
when's the next meeting? The 3rd.
June 4th.
June 4th or June 18th? We
June
could
4th.
come back June 18th with that.
There's a couple things happening in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's
Just, that's why I'd
happening
like
in
that
there.
Everything's
flexibility a little bit.
happening in there.
I'm going to think your
Yeah.
parent population might be pretty busy in
That's
the next
why.
couple weeks.
Correct.
I'm just
So we
going to
should
say
leave it
that.
till
So
last meeting.
I would suggest that we have them come back on the 18th
Me too.
because that would
We will
give you
schedule-
more opportunity to. And I think there's an FMA meeting already scheduled
There
for the
is.
11th, so that would be an opportunity. You might want to think about, we don't get a lot of the parents from the Ahern, but you might want to contact the parents of our incoming freshmen, because if you have students who might be in this group or these ensembles, I'm sure you know who they are already, you know, that you might want to include them so they're in the loop, so to
Definitely.
speak. Anyway, just a thought.
Sure. Do you have any more questions of me about the trip that maybe I haven't answered that isn't here that I can try to answer for you now, or that I could provide for you when we come back
More
June
details
18th?
later, yeah.
Is there anything you're looking for?
Looks good.
Yeah.
I think the thought, too, that's been put into the dates, obviously, when they're in school, but also returning in time to where they're, if it's seniors that have graduated, they're thinking of going off to college,
Yeah.
to your point,
Right.
talking about where they've already graduated, and then at the same time, when sports and, athletics and
Everything's
different things
starting
starts up at the beginning of August,
It's good
then they've
timing.
already returned as well.
And it actually lines up with their beginning of their new school year. So we'll be going to school with them on like their first day of
That's kind of cool.
school.
It'll be
And
year-round for our kids.
Which is
Yeah, there we
cool. So, but yes,
right?
definitely keeping the seniors in mind, and that they have orientations they need to attend, and that, summer sports start, and sort of the end of when
Well, it's already very well thought out.
Yeah, so, yes, thank you. I've been thinking about it for a while.
And I'll speak for myself, but if you can thank the students for, I would support this trip because of how they've carried themselves on all their trips. How they carry themselves every day and all the trips that they do, and their travel just within the state, and their comportment allows me personally to let them leap a little further. So if you can thank them on my behalf, that's why we're doing this, probably for them.
Sure. And this is the first international trip in a number of years.
I believe our last international trip was the Montreux trip in 99, 98 maybe. With the jazz ensemble, so yes, this
That's
is
the most expensive. I always told Mr. Massey that was the most expensive ticket ever I had ever bought to hear his jazz, because it was played in one of the major, in Luxembourg Gardens in Paris.
Wow.
So of course, being a former French teacher, I felt obligated to show my support
Obviously.
for the music department.
Cool.
All right, I would like to entertain a motion that we give the go-ahead to this, and so that Cammie can plan her first adult meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to move the music trip to Australia forward, not accepting it, but forward, and stop the ball rolling and have you come back at the end of June.
Sure.
So this is a motion for preliminary approval?
Preliminary, yeah.
And I'll second
Preliminary
that
approval.
motion.
Right. Second?
Yeah, I second it.
All in favor? 5-0. Congratulations.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you for all your hard work.
We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks for doing the work. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, we are now moving on. Mrs. Myers-Packler can stay seated.
I just moved over.
To our FHS guidance series services update. Also with Ms. Lorene White.
Can I pop in just for a moment before you start? Ms. Pearson, thank you for mentioning about our students. So I have to do a shout out to our seniors who today was their last day, officially as students attending classes, and they did a really nice job. So we gave them a couple of please don'ts, and for the most part they followed that, including glitter and noisemakers, which are just two things that we always are dealing with. We have people with hearing issues, and the noisemakers can get a little bit awkward, and the glitter is just miserable to pick up. So I have to say that really, truly, this senior class has done a really good job, especially in these last days when things can become extremely exuberant. So just a shout out to the seniors, and we're looking forward to the activities of the next week and a half with them. And then I would be remiss if I just didn't put out there too that our hearts are certainly with the schools in Santa Fe, Texas, and also at Stoughton High School with the losses that they had too. So I just wanted to put that out there publicly as well, that we are there. So, and Kendall, I just need to know, how did you do?
The team won.
Okay.
So
Right.
we have a big week ahead of us.
Yes,
We're
you
going to
do.
Martha's Vineyard
I
on
know,
Wednesday,
yes.
which is the best match of the season. So if any of you want to ferry out there, I recommend it. So so big week.
Great to hear.
Yeah.
So
I'm a
thank you
little
for
tired.
indulging me off the agenda there a little bit. But I'm going to let Laureen take this, and I'll just pipe in every once in a while. So.
Hi. So hopefully everybody has their book. Most of you have been through this before. I know Rich, have probably not for a while, so welcome. So there's just a couple things as we go through it. I'll just say by page number that I just want to highlight, but if you have any questions, please stop me. So under the, first, the guidance services, page 3.
The red section.
Oh, yeah, what'd you say?
Right, the red
Yeah,
tab.
the red tab. Oh, sorry, the red tab, yeah. We have the 8th grade move-up day coming up soon, and then also over the summer, trying to get the kids to transition to the high school. We have them come up over the summer, and last year was the first year that the whole guidance was involved in that, and I think it really made a difference. So we're going to continue that hopefully this year. It's on our docket to do that. We thought that worked out pretty good. Again, stop me if there's anything else. Still in the red section, page 6. Okay, so our AP. So we've been in 2 weeks of solid AP testing over the last couple of weeks. It's been great. We do most of it off campus. Some of it we do here at school, but the off campus has really worked well. So, St. Mary's hosts us, which is really good. And Vensis in the library has been phenomenal as well. So our numbers keep increasing of the amount of tests that are given every year. And this year we gave 439 exams. Which is fabulous. So we encourage all of our students to try to do AP classes if they're able to, and that has gone well. Next page, page 7. We're going to continue. Joe O'Neill, as you guys all know, is phenomenal. And he runs a program over the summer where we invite the upcoming seniors into the school, and we help them get started on their college application. We've also added this year, we've had a representative from Quinnipiac come into the junior English classes to get them going on their essays. So we're going to continue that. That's gone really well. Some of the AP classes we're going to do on Wednesday because we couldn't interrupt them before the AP exam. So Heidi from Quinnipiac comes in and speaks to them about college essays. And then we just encourage the juniors to really start now because it's a lot of work and come in over the summer.
And the summer's had very positive responses by the students. I know when I've been down in guidance, because right now Mr. O'Neill's, counseling. Now, don't forget, we're going to do these days in August, and you need to come in. And there were seniors that were there and said it was the best thing. Plus, it was air conditioned in there, but just so much that they could just get that kind of that jump start on their Common App, which was just huge. Because then once school starts, they're in the throes of school, and you're not really kind of thinking of that college application where you're layering that on top of it. So to have that much more of it done ahead of time, so that's our advice. Get in August.
True, yeah. The more you can get done in over the summer, the better off you're going to be. So we will continue that, and the letter goes out to the parents inviting and the students, inviting them to sign up for that. Still in the red section on page 11. So this is something new that we did this year. It's called the Safe Choices Workshop for Seniors, and it went really well. What we did is we're trying to make students aware of when they leave Foxborough, what is out there and what to do about it if you get yourself into a situation. And the statistic kind of scares everybody, but this is what started the whole thing, is when I was watching the news once and they said 1 in 4 females and 1 in 6 males are sexually assaulted when they go to college.
In their first 3 months.
And as a parent, I was like, oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. And it came to the question, are we doing enough to keep our kids safe? I mean, so that's what started this whole process. So Erin Haley Botello and Janelle Erskine and Teresa Petty and I got together, we put together this workshop, and it was phenomenal. And the responses from the students, we did at the end a, is it Survey Monkey? And it was really good. So the responses were really good, and we're going to continue that because we thought it was a very valuable day. First time doing it, we're going to tweak it because we always take comments and go from there, but loved it, and we will continue.
You want to expand, Laureen, a little bit on how you involve the students as far as facilitating those workshops too?
Okay, so they rotated every hour or so into different workshops, and what we did is we get a group of students that are leaders in the building, underclassmen, juniors, and they were able to facilitate discussions after we had a whole workshop with them.
They showed a movie.
What's the name of it?
One Love.
One Love. Thank you.
So
One
they showed
Love,
the movie,
Mhm.
and then from there, it was a breakout session with discussion regarding what would you do in a given set of circumstances. What was it? What were some of those characteristics that were, I don't know, those triggers or should have been triggers, and what would you do and how would you respond? Were either one of you two involved? So do you want to talk a little bit?
So
That would be
prior
awesome.
to the day actually occurring, a few people from One Love actually came in, and there was packets and a whole training session developed for the people who would be helping to facilitate it, so we would have a better idea of what we would be doing and the subject we were covering. And the person who came in held a meeting pretty similar to what we did with the seniors.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw the movie, we went over a bunch of questions and how we feel about them and how we would have reacted, so we can get a better idea of the things that we need to look out for going forward. And so we took that, and then when we were actually the ones facilitating it, we did pretty much the same thing with the seniors, so that they could have a better idea of what to deal with as they get older.
So this was one of the workshop rotations on that particular day that the students went through with it. So, and you all were partnered up. How many facilitators were there?
Three other students and 2 teachers.
And 2 teachers.
And at first, we were a little concerned about juniors facilitating seniors, but it's such a unbelievable kind of heavy topic that everybody was very respectful, and there was no age difference there. It worked out.
Yeah,
I think it really worked out.
It went very smoothly.
Yeah, me too. So
we had advisory that day too, so I wasn't involved in it, but we had advisory and we watched the short film that the seniors watched too. So that was good that everybody got to see the movie. So not everybody was involved in the workshop, but they got a preview of it.
Exactly.
So, and I agree. My advisory is usually kind of rambunctious, but they it's a serious topic, and everybody was super respectful, and we had a good discussion about it.
Yeah.
So it was a good. It's not like a corny clinic either. It's
No.
like a
Right.
it's kids talking to kids. So I
Yeah.
think that's really cool.
And that's the other thing, it was very relevant of, today. It wasn't, outdated at all.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
very relevant, so it was, thank you. That
A
was
lot of
good.
parents ask for these kind of programs, so I think they're very happy to hear that we're doing that.
Yeah, no, it was great. Like I said, it was a pilot program, and I think that we'll continue it because of much success, I thought.
I think these 2 pages are pretty important with the shooting that we just have in Santa Fe, with students that come to high school with a various array of challenges. This is 2 pages about the response that you guys put together to support students at all levels. And so I think this is an important piece, and I think the guidance should be applauded for putting those things in place.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, still in red. Okay, 13, page 13, sorry. I just put down the different evenings, communication is everything. We want to make sure people are aware of what's going on so they can access it. And at the end, we put down the different evenings that we do. We do between 8 and 10 evenings throughout the year of things that we feel are important. One thing that we added this year was the junior parent night, so make sure that they're on board on what their juniors should be doing that year. We gave them a timeline, this month you should be doing this month you should be doing that. SATs, ACTs, just kind of informational, but we thought that was valuable as well this year. That was a new one. So, okay. We are out of the red. We're going in just really into the yellow and just page 6. So we run developmental guidance classes in all age groups, but we also this year, through our advisory, since advisories are now grade level, we're able to add some other topics that we can do later on in the year. And we did 2 this year, PSATs, and going over the PSATs with the students and test preparation and so forth. That was very good. And then we also did a freshman, how to get ready for midterms. They've never had midterms before. So what do you do? How do you study? What to look for and all that stuff. So we did those 2 in group settings, and we hope to add a couple more of those next year. And again, it's because our advisory is grade level, we're able to do that. Good. Okay. Okay, the green section. Okay, we just highlighted, and I think you guys, there's nothing really I need to say here. These are the new courses we're offering. I know they've already been approved and so forth. I just wanted to let you know they are all running. That means there was a interest in them. So they will all be running next year. Short story.
Go back to high school.
Oh, I know. It's some good stuff. Okay, and then the blue section is the School to Career. I think you all know that Ellen Pillsbury does a phenomenal job. Right now we're doing senior project. So all the students coming in, I think today we probably saw about 15 students. They presented what they've been doing in the senior project. And overwhelmingly, they think it's the best thing that they've done. And we get a lot of feedback with that. Again, we're encouraging more students to do it. She does a lot of great things throughout the year, but this is just what's going on right now.
And the students have been giving us good feedback because that's something that Ellen asks every year. What can we do to improve this, or what can we do that would encourage more students to participate in it? And so just a couple of ideas that we were like, oh yeah, sometimes you just don't think about it, and it's right there. So the students have just said, there's a lot of advertising for it in guidance, but how about if we get some posters out and about within the school? We're like, of course, we could so do that, So again, just one of those pieces that we can wind up adding a little bit to this. And they also suggested, which again, we wind up taking some class time for it, but having Ellen speak to smaller groups of students through classes so that they're able to hear it directly rather than in a large group, because then it's a little bit more intimate when they're having the conversation.
And we did set that up, so
Yes.
Ellen's going to be going into the history classes on Thursday and
Junior
Friday.
classes.
Yeah, the Thursday, Friday this week, so we'll have a small group to be able to answer questions. Because we think it's such a great thing, and we really wish that more students would participate. I think we had 33 this year.
Have you seen the numbers going up consistently, or they're all over the place?
Same.
I thought
our
one
first year we
went
were
really high.
20-something,
One
second year we were,
70.
I was gonna say
yes.
60 or 70.
Yes.
Okay, so that was the only.
One
that
year
was a fluke?
70, every other year it's been like the 30.
We're not sure.
Okay.
So
It's a
much of
fluky
it
year.
depends on a variety of things. So for instance, we had 2 students this year who, they were the last ones to present today. And their number of hours were 15 a week. And they were both working on the Gillette street painting that just took
Yeah,
place
yeah,
yesterday, which was phenomenal. A shout out there too. And so they talked about the fact that it was one of the students had 2 APs in music, the other student I think had 3 APs, but they were able to do this particular senior project because although we've got that rotating schedule, so that class is going to change, or music might be in first block, but the rest are going to rotate, that because it was here and that they were actually working, Ms. Arkacha set up 2 office spaces for the guys to work on with the computers, all their supplies and all of that. So it was very easy for them to leave class, go down and work on this down in the art wing, come back. So as much as we can try to work with kids, I've got to get them in to say yes, they're interested in doing, then we can work it through. But sometimes it is a matter of the classes that they're taking and depending upon the location of where it might be. But
that might need to be advertised to the kids a little more, because I wonder if there's a
The
presumption
flexibility.
that, oh, I have these AP classes, I can't possibly manage it.
And we do talk to them quite a bit about
we
that.
do.
But and again, as these students were even saying on feedback, that so many of their friends were like, "Why didn't I do this? This is so stupid. Why didn't I do this? I should have done this." And again, sometimes it's that you're going into something and you don't really know what it's about.
Yeah,
but then
no,
as your
no.
friends are in it, and you're like, "Oh, this is so it. This is so worth me doing." And as I said, that independence right now that they're out of the building, they're kind of making that determination on what they're doing with their time is just, it's really incredible for them. And it's how do we kind of instill that on the juniors, so that they're hearing that as well.
Well, that's my question. When they're presenting, are they presenting to the juniors?
No.
Could they, do you think?
Oh, yes.
Well,
everything is taking kids out of class versus the,
Right.
and so that's that, so yeah, that would be phenomenal, but that's what we always are weighing that, we're like, English
Right.
class, or, you know what I mean, like, it's so, it's hard, but
I'd
yes,
say
I would feel great.
senior project is very well advertised. It's just also the issue of as a junior, if you want to decide oh, that's something I'm really going to do next year, you gotta kind of decide on it pretty early, right?
In the fall.
November,
Yeah,
December.
junior year,
But
yeah.
maybe it's this part, which I know Ellen keeps trying to hit home on. You need to say, yes, I'm very interested in doing this in November, but your final commitment doesn't come until into the second semester, almost
right.
like a February time period, but it's ahead of time so that she can begin to help all of you figure out where and what. Some people know exactly what they want to do, and others are just like, I want to do a project, but I don't know who, what, where, why, or when. So that's where we try to help out on it too. So maybe it's that portion that I'm committing so early, I'm not really thinking about it, I'm thinking about college stuff and all of that, versus I just need to get that paperwork in to say I'm interested, and then from there, you can still pull out afterwards if you want to, but you can't get into it unless you've committed that early on, right?
Yeah, and I agree, it's like, oh my God, that's so far away.
Right.
I didn't think about it now. No, I think that's part of it too, though, yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's.
You go.
What if you did a short testimonial video? I played in the band and I had 3 AP classes and this was my senior project.
We do.
No,
sorry, you know.
I was just gonna
We
say,
did. We
just
have
as a
a
resource for
whole
the kids.
presentation with all the students who does it, come up and say what experience they had. We do pictures of them and all. And last year, I think we had 5 students come back and say their
I
experience.
just meant other than pulling them out of class. Then if a student was at home and was trying to decide, I meant like a video,
commercial.
like a
I
YouTube
got
video
it.
that they
Okay.
could click on their
That's a good
phone when
idea.
they're watching TV and playing Fortnite at the same time. They can also be researching their senior project and are there other kids who have had similar sports and band and whatever and made it work, and you
That's
know
a
you
really good
have
idea.
those students, so maybe in addition to the students who do it more traditional
Yep.
senior project, maybe talk to the ones who are non-traditional and get not anything extensive, just this was mine and I made it work and I'm so glad that I did.
Yeah, that's a great idea because we do it, but it's in an auditorium. If we put it online, so
Well, that
kids
would
could
eliminate
access it.
the taking the kids out
Yeah,
of class.
yeah.
Plus, then they could show their parents and say, okay, because sometimes the parents are like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going to happen with your 3 AP
Yes,
classes and your
exactly.
grade in orchestra?
Yeah, we get it. Yeah.
So if they say, no, so and so did this, look, and they might be like, oh, I know him, I know his mother. Yeah, all right, we can talk about this. So it's just
That's
a
a great
thought.
idea.
And
We
just
have
a-
the resources.
And just a little aside too, we'll be finishing up, I think tomorrow, I think we're all done with all of them tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, yeah.
We had, I think, 3 job offers that have come out of this so far, of which one of the students is working with younger children, and it was like, they said, oh, she's got a job, and So she's kind of like, I don't really want the job because I don't want to work with kids anymore. I just don't want to work with
She
kids.
did it and she's
But
done.
she hasn't said that. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to go in out there. But she may take the job for the summer, but she's like, that's it, I'm done. I'm done. I don't like them small. I don't want to do this. So,
But she
it
crossed
is,
that off her list, right?
but
She crossed that list.
on the
Yeah.
positive part of it,
Yeah.
again, we've only had really students who've come back to say that it's been a wonderful experience. A, I don't ever want to do this again.
Mhm.
B, this was really cool because I don't know when I'm ever going to have an opportunity to do this. Or C, this is really just put in for what I want to do. You know, I know that this is really what I want to do. So again, I think so far 3 job offers. We've got one student who's actually sitting for their real estate licensure test as a part of this as well. Somebody else that was involved in becoming a I'm going to say it wrong, an EMT person. Is not just through our fire department, but actually doing the ambulance,
Right.
the other
Mhm.
ambulance piece of
Yep.
it. So just a lot of, again, different things that have been, you know, that were out there this year. I
Mhm.
think in some
Mhm.
cases kind of even in a little bit further. And one of our students from Boston who was taking an AP was coming out here every morning to take the AP and then was leaving to go to the middle school to be able to do her senior project, which is great. Other times we've had students from Boston stay in Boston and do, but here was a student who came out here every day, did that first period class, and then went and did her internship at the middle school. So I think it was the middle school that she was at. So just really kind of cool stuff. But anyway.
How did the 5 students in the teacher apprentice program, how did they find that?
Oh,
Go ahead.
The teacher all went very well.
Yes.
Okay, so the teachers all loved it. We had one student who had to switch halfway through just because of a teacher was out for a leave. All 4 of them thought it was great. One of them said, I'll never be a teacher kind of deal. It wasn't what she thought it was going to be. Wasn't what but it all went well. And let me tell you, the students who do the externship, they leave for one period a day. They're always back in time. They have, you know what I mean? They're very
Absolutely.
responsible. We have had no issues at all. And yeah, so
And I
that
think
went
we
really
had
well.
2 new, I think it was 2 new teachers who were taking students on and were like, this was fabulous, really fabulous. So
Because it's a responsibility for them too,
Right,
to
to
take
take
on
a student
somebody.
in and-
But they do, yeah. So that's worked out really well. But the one that came back that said, not for that, she was funny.
that was the funniest thing.
It's great because if they were going to go to
I
college
know.
for that,
That's
now they
right.
realize they're not going to waste their money on that and look at a different career.
Their parents' money, so their
Yeah,
parents.
right.
Some cases. Some cases.
Good for that. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next section is the white section, college. So page 8 of that just continued. We have about 90% of our students go on to 2 or 4-year colleges. So it's been pretty consistent throughout the years. And the followed on page 9 is just the breakdown of that. Again, I don't think there's any huge surprises. You know, we have some students, the military, and entering the workforce, and it's been about up and down, consistent. The bottom line, about 90% go on. Okay, and then there's my beautiful scattergrams, which we always love. Okay.
The number that surprised me on this was the 77% of students on the AP exam get a 3 or higher, when anyone can choose whatever class they can get in.
Exactly. In a lot of
That's
schools, you
really
can't go into
impressive.
an AP unless you get recommended.
Yeah.
We believe everybody should take one if they want to, and look at how
Yeah,
well
that's
they
really
do.
impressive.
I agree, thank you, yeah, I agree. And the last section is the scholarships. You know, as we usually get our John and Abigail and Stanley Koplik Scholarship. And then I was just that last page, we're updating it pretty much on a daily basis as we get it. But one thing I thought was cool, we're giving away so far a little over $240,000 through scholarships. This year, which will be presented on scholarship night.
And I'll be sure to put that out on graduation day as
Yeah.
well, because that number could go up.
It-
You never
yeah,
know
so
between now and then.
I have to update this list since you got this a couple of days ago, because we've already had a couple more. But bottom line, it's over 240,000, so it's fabulous. School is very expensive, so it's any amount that they can get, great.
Great job, Ken.
Do you have any?
That's all you
I'd just like to say that there's so many things that the guidance department does, and as Laureen was pointing out, the new things that are here, they're not resting. They're constantly looking at ways to either communicate more or provide other opportunities for needs that are presented when you think about the workshops that were presented. And so I just would like to thank you on behalf of our students for that, because it is, you're constantly trying to find ways of, whether it's the juniors, providing that information, and you're always taking the feedback from the students, as well as from parents, trying to then make that feedback to where it makes a difference in the planning going forward.
Yeah, thanks. We've got a great group down there, so kudos to them. Thank you so much.
You still have the program where they plugged in the different schools that you started in freshman year?
Naviance?
Naviance.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, we used
But I love
Naviance
that.
for
That was-
it's so good.
Very, very
Really-
helpful.
Yeah, it is helpful. Yeah, we still have Naviance.
Excellent.
Is there anything you're planning on doing new next year, or is there anything you would like to do?
Well, we went to those, when I was saying those large groups during the advisory, we did 2 this year. We found them wonderful, so we want to add to those.
Link Crew, do you want to talk a little bit
Thank you.
about
I was
that?
gonna bring that one up. I'm glad you did.
So yes, thank you for your approval. I think this, we went through last year, it took somewhat at the end of last year, but we are bringing in a program that's it's a transition program for 9th grade students called Link Crew, the Boomerang Project. And it's not only an orientation program for students as they come in, but really kind of a Big Brothers Big Sisters program where we will be attaching upperclassmen to underclassmen through advisory, and they will be following them throughout the year. So there will be other events throughout the year that they'll be doing. So we talk about, again, this year through advisory, getting the kids ready, our 9th graders ready for midterms when they haven't had them. There's an event called Cocoa Cram, which is a little bit more than just coming into advisory. That's one conversation to take place for 30 minutes, but actually bringing the students in with having the review sheets coming from the major subject areas, running them all through it, having the students actually acting to run those, having the link leaders, telephoning or texting or tweeting to them or whatever you choose to do on that, to invite them to particular things, to say this is a cool thing and you really need to be involved in it. And again, a lot of this it's been a long-running program, California-based, Southern-based, and it's across the country now, but they've been keeping statistics just on kids making connections to school in their freshman year or not making connections to school in their freshman year, and what the results look like over 4 years for those students. So while we have a very good clientele here of students, we do have those students who are not always engaged or who have difficulty finding their way. So we're really hoping through aspects of the Link Crew program, with this Big Brother Big Sister piece to it, that we'll be even providing what we think is more for our freshmen as we go through, but also providing those leadership skills to our underclassmen as well, or our upper underclassmen, so to speak, and really having that to continue to grow a positive climate and culture within the building, which we think we have a pretty good one, but we can always do more. So it's kind of a win-win, we're hoping, in a wide variety of different ways. So Caitlin Adamakis and Pam Anderson are the 2 teachers in the building who went for a 3-day training that was condensed to a 2-day training because that was during a snowstorm time frame. So they went, I think it was 7 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night to get the 3 days in under 2 days so people could get back home. And they had people from all over. That was in Connecticut, so they had a much easier drive, but they had people from all over the East Coast who came in for that training. And so now they have come out. We introduced it to our underclassmen and, to our faculty, and the faculty nominated students who they thought would be good link leaders. And we asked them to really think outside the box. It could be that quiet person in the classroom, but is always there and is always managing and always doing. So those students who were nominated, and I'm very happy to say that it was 150 students, I think, who were nominated, and most of them had double check marks, meaning that it was more than one teacher who had nominated them. And they received an invitation to come to just a very brief meeting to give an overview and to receive an application to see if they are interested, because it means commitment on their part. But I also just have to say that we spoke to a lot of people regarding this, because for our orientation, for the student training and for the orientation in the fall for the students, we really needed to make sure that our athletics with practice we'd be able to work through with kids who might be an athlete and want to do, and or those students who might also be involved in music. Will the camps, will marching band, will those other things be interfering? How can we best work this out? So Rich Cormier has been great as the AD, Cammie's been great as the music department head, and we were able to work out and really work those times because the kids needed to know what those dates were that they were going to need to be committed to over the next 3 months as we move into the program. The other dates will come later, and the students themselves, the link leaders, will design those other days as we move forward. So that's a little bit too connected as well to what guidance is doing and how we can help to support, and how Link can help to support on that end, and advisory can help to support on this end too. So.
Yep.
And Joe O'Neill is still continuing to do his college visits. He took kids, when was it,
great.
over April? Was it over April vacation?
Yeah, so the last one, they went to UMass Amherst. We did that one last year as well. And we have one coming up on the Friday, the 22nd, I think, to the Fenway, the colleges of the
good.
Fenway.
Fenways.
So, yeah.
Great.
So.
What was the return on the invitations for the leaders?
I don't know what the numbers are right now, but I do know that the meeting, let's say the meeting, I've forgotten the day of the week that it was held. All these days are kind of coming together with everything.
It's the end of the year.
Let's say it was a Tuesday and they were due, or it was a Wednesday and they were due the following Wednesday.
They're due tomorrow.
Thank you. They had,
I know.
tomorrow's Tuesday, right?
Tomorrow's Tuesday. I happen to know when those are due.
They already had returned
Someone better be
applications that
working
very
on
next
his.
day. They had
Oh,
20 or
great.
30 in hand already
Okay.
from kids
So
who
it's a
were
good
very
response
interested.
then.
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking forward to
Yes.
hearing how the result of that would be.
We are
You know,
too.
See the interest.
Yes.
I think it's a great way.
And
you know, with
they
the
have
whole
to
bullying
narrow.
thing, everything. You know,
Yes.
the whole atmosphere.
They're going to have to narrow down, unfortunately. It's going
Right.
to have to happen, but
That's okay.
because there are numbers that work better with other numbers. So we will have to, but we'll see what we can do to incorporate as many as possible. And as part of that information that went out to staff, they also said to staff, there was one line only staff could check. Yes, I would love to be a part of this and help out. And the numbers were very large on the numbers of staff members too that said, yes, I don't know what capacity, I can't guarantee whatever. We said, that's great, because we'll plug in somehow in this, you know, we're going to need help along the way, so.
You'd rather have to whittle down.
Absolutely, than not to have.
Have too
so,
many isn't a
yes.
problem. That's
So,
great.
Anyway.
That sounds promising.
So guidance is doing they just are always looking for things to I think, just to improve upon, and how can we best serve our students and our families. So I thank them because they're always coming up with something else. What do you think? Yep, that sounds great. Let's try it. So.
Yeah, thank you.
And we do have an AP potential. No, what do we have? The AP night?
AP night, Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
6 o'clock. Any students
6
who take an AP exam, mandatory, 6 o'clock. Well, it might not be 6. It goes from 5 to 6:30, so it depends on what AP exam you're taking. They're 15-minute time slots.
Summer expectations,
Yeah.
and this is what you need to do. Here's your book.
Yeah.
Or here's where the readings are.
The students know, and that we did send something home to the parents as well with time, so.
It's great that you take them all too.
Yeah.
That you don't have a testing minimum and stuff, and you make it open, because that's the right thing for kids.
Yep.
If they want to take the challenge and they go for it, that's the way you elevate. So that's
The
excellent.
class discussion is so valuable.
So rich.
I mean,
And then
Huge.
balancing, learning how to really
Right.
balance your time
Yep.
and all of that is so important. And, I've always said it isn't the score on one given day that should count. That's a bonus. So I'm so happy that our percentages are 3, 4s, and 5s on that plus side.
That's excellent.
But it's really, it's a full year. It's a full year of, again, learning how to balance and other skills that are going on. And if you're going off to college, then you should be taking a course at some point along the way. So, and our seniors, so many of our seniors who are taking the second AP English, which is, I'm always confusing the Lit and Lang and the other.
Yeah, the
between-
seniors take lit, and then
Lit,
we
thank
take
you.
Lang.
Yeah.
That many of the colleges will only accept the one score that you take, but so many of our students are taking that senior year of it and still sitting for the exam, which we believe is something that every student needs to take. You've just spent a whole year, you owe that to yourself and to your teacher to sit for that exam as well. So, so yeah.
But we definitely have like a really good AP program, because I have friends who go to private school who do have to like test into the APs that they take, and it's really difficult, or their school just doesn't offer that many. And a lot of them are blown away by our VHS program. I'll be like, I'm planning to take an AP next year on VHS, and they're like, what's VHS? And I'm like, because that opens up so many classes to take, and like especially the kind of like niche ones that not a ton of kids are interested in. So yeah, we definitely have a really good program. It looks good on, the college application. Even if you're not getting like 5s, it's just good to have like those
Taking a
classes under your belt.
challenge.
Yeah.
You're taking a challenge.
And being a small school, we can't offer everything, and that's what the VHS is so great.
Yeah.
And so we do have a lot of students who take other courses, but as well as AP during VHS. So we're very lucky we can offer that too. It's good. Yeah.
Do the students pay for the tests, or does the district?
The students pay for the test. Yeah. It's decently expensive too.
Bring your checkbook
Nice.
on
That
AP
well.
potential line.
That's right.
I forgot mine last year and had to go home for it.
Thank you for all you do.
Great job.
Thank you, everybody.
Great.
Appreciate your
Thank
support
you.
as well, so thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Wow, we are moving right along. We have time for other tonight. Do you have something under other?
I would just, in addition to what you saw with the Borough production on Saturday, then the threat of rain for our street painting festival for this weekend. I know Kelly was very worried about the weather, and a shout out to Glenn Fields, our Foxborough parent, who also can give us really the most accurate, up-to-date weather information. We reached out to him as well as far as the weather, and moved that to Sunday. And I know Allison was there earlier in the day, and I was there later in the day, and we were able to beat the rain. And just talking with the students about the stories behind their pieces and how they decided what they wanted to do was just really thoughtful and impressive and inspiring.
And the art is beautiful.
It is beautiful, but their stories behind it were so beautiful too. So that was very enjoyable. So I was glad that they were able to get that in.
Is this the 4th year of the art festival?
Third.
This is the first one I missed. I was very, very sad. I could have gone Saturday.
I think maybe the 4th one would have been when it was in Providence.
Oh, yes.
So that would have been the first, so we've had
That's
3
what I'm
since
thinking.
then, so.
Yeah, that is what I'm thinking of.
Yes.
But this is the 3rd one up at,
Yes.
Correct.
yeah, Patriot Place. Nice.
Very good.
Do you have any?
I pay attention.
I do not. Other?
Richard?
No, I'm all good. Thanks. It's been a great first meeting. Went very well, and
Actually, Betty, I forgot.
Thanks.
If I can go back.
Yes.
The Hearn Middle School had their second annual STEM Day on Friday for the 6th grade.
Oh,
It was great.
Yeah,
It was
it
so
was
fun.
fantastic, and shout out to the teachers who coordinated it and to all the community volunteers who participated in it. I unfortunately was not there that day, but I heard it was a very successful event, and it's something that they look forward to each year.
Like you said, the parents that were there, and our high school students
Yeah,
that
it
were
was so
there as
cool.
part of
It
it
was
too.
Awesome. I got to go around to some of the exhibits, like when there weren't that many kids at our station. It was an awesome day. It was really cool, and they were so interested in it. I
Were
was
you
kinda bored.
presenting or?
Yeah, I went with my chem class, and we
Cool.
played with some liquid nitrogen. So, but they were super engaged, and we had marshmallows. So whenever you have marshmallows,
Everyone's
they're
happy.
going to be
Everyone's
super interested.
happy.
But no, they loved
It's a
it,
win-win.
and they were like going around.
That's all.
You know, they weren't like lurking in like the corner. Like they were going around. They were hitting every station, and it was really cool. It was
The
awesome.
first year we did it at Wheaton, the high school students came.
Yeah.
And we noticed that all of the community partners were very interesting to the kids, especially the crime scene investigation.
Yes, they loved the fingerprint.
But they really responded most to the high school students.
Of course, they're
So
peers.
I'm so glad that that piece
Look
has
up to them.
continued. That's really
That
fantastic.
is awesome.
My son was in 8th grade when they did the Wheaton Fair, and definitely the high school students had an impact on the
course.
younger kids and inspired them.
Yes.
Really cool stuff. I do have something, actually.
Oh, go ahead.
But this Thursday at 7 p.m.
I was
is
gonna-
the chamber concert, and they will be premiering the commissioned piece for Mr. Massey in honor of his retirement and his long career here. So I think the kids are working very hard on it with the composer in school this week and after school, and lots of hours going into it. So I'm sure it'll be spectacular, and that is Thursday night at 7 here in the auditorium.
I was going to talk about the art, the street painting, so thank you for taking care of that for me. Everyone always steals mine because you come to me last. Okay,
Well, we should start with you
I think we're going to
first.
start, that'll be the one time I don't have anything, right? The DECA Estates, can we have, if we have time in the agenda, can we have McCabe come back? I think they did
Is
really
it
well at the States.
Teaching and learning highlight?
Yes.
Or to have on the
Yes.
agenda?
Yeah, or teaching, learning, either way. Bring the students back that, competed in one. unless they're seniors, they don't want to come back, so that might, maybe it's just on the
We had
agenda.
some
We
junior
definitely
national
had some
finalists.
juniors,
Yeah.
I know we did.
There's a junior?
Yeah.
A few.
National?
A few, yeah.
Okay, so maybe
I
them.
would think that would be.
Yeah, that'd be teaching and learning highlight.
Okay.
And I think that's all I have, because I was gonna talk about the street painting. Oh, and welcome to Rich, and you'll be an asset to our team, and I'm looking forward to working with you.
Thanks.
Hopefully I get the date right. Joe, correct me if I'm wrong. June 5th is the Special Olympics.
Oh, yes.
And Joe is a coach or
Yes,
a
he
mentor, right?
Yes, he is.
A peer buddy role model for a mentor for like the younger athletes at the IGO.
Excellent.
And that's always a huge highlight in our districts.
Is that in North Attleboro?
It's in Attleboro. Usually it's in Attleboro, but North Attleboro from 2010 to 2013, because Attleboro was doing a
I knew something.
similar thing,
Right.
field renovation like we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's North Attleboro's turn to do it, because I remember they were putting a turf field in, but they couldn't finish it because they didn't have enough money to finish it.
Okay, so that's where it will be? It'll be at the North Attleboro High School?
No, North Attleboro is still not done.
Okay, so
it'll be
Attleboro
at
High School?
Attleboro High
Okay.
School, yes.
Attleboro, June 5th. How many kids are going, Joe?
From the height, I don't want to put words in other people's mouths.
He knows.
Will I get in trouble if I?
No, you
Just give
can
us
say
your
approximate.
yes.
Approximate
guess.
number.
From Diane Galante's class, there's 3 athletes participating, and in Dave Griffin's class, there's 3, and then I'm not one of them because I'm doing the peer buddy role model thing, and then, yeah, because I had an interview about it right after April vacation at the IGO, and I got accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
That's exciting,
Joe.
isn't it?
Joe.
Yeah,
So 6 kids coming from high school then?
6, because that's all it is, because the problem is some students didn't, I don't know if they wanted to do it or not.
Yeah,
and
that's good
then
though.
it's after graduation at the end, some people are seniors, they don't want to come back.
Right, yeah, yeah,
Very good.
that makes sense. Thank you, Joe.
You know.
I did think of one other
Yes.
piece. It's on Friday, so the OECD test for schools that we participated in last April, and then again this April for randomized 75 15-year-olds. So we are participating as part of the Global Learning Network with a number of districts that voluntarily wanted to be part of a larger professional learning community, so we can learn from other Massachusetts school districts together with the results of that and how we're preparing our students at a global level. So we hosted a number of other districts here on Friday, and so that was a great day to have them here, and it represents superintendents, department heads, principals, our own team here, to really learn from what's working well with other school districts as well as with ours as we continue to look at how we can make our students globally competitive.
And that was last Friday, or it's coming up?
Nope, that was this past Friday.
Splendid.
So it was a great day.
There are great things going on at the school district. I would like to, for my additional, I would like to give a shout out to Dr. Einsel and our special ed department. Each year, the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education runs a mid-year review, and it monitors selected special ed criteria to make sure that our district is in compliance. And Dr. Berdos, as superintendent, received a letter. You and your entire staff are to be congratulated for your success in implementing the requirements included in this criteria. So congratulations.
Special ed staff did a great job.
Oh, excellent.
Dr. Einsel under her leadership. Thank you.
And I wish each and every graduating senior much success and congratulations. And to the parents, congratulations.
Thank you.
Also.
Exciting time. It is exciting.
And today they had the senior.
Yeah, they
pictures
did
and
their senior
fireworks.
parade around the common halfway and down to the Payson Fields. I really have to say thank you to Chief Baker, because I know that he put some changes in place last year, and it went very smoothly. It really
And it has made this safety so much.
It is much safer. I have seen it. I saw it in the past, and I've seen it the last 2 years, and
looked
it
through
is
that,
it
yeah.
is much safer than it was, and I appreciate that. And our police and fire were there. We had a couple motorcycles, we had a couple cruisers, and we had a couple fire engines, which is always fun. So Very exciting. And last Friday also was the Heinrecker Hustle. We should mention
Right.
that.
Oh,
I
there we
think we
go.
had I can't even remember, the largest number of participants they've had in the 3 years. And also the class of 2016 put up a plaque for Mr. Heinrecker, which I have not, I only saw it on Facebook. I want to see it in person, but it's a beautiful plaque. From what I saw on Facebook. And
From 2016?
It was their class gift, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
Twitter, too.
yeah, I saw it on, I think that's where I
see
saw
it.
it. yeah.
I'm not on
Yeah,
Twitter
it's
now.
all quite
That's
fun.
Matthew's class, so.
That's where I thought it was.
Okay, and they were so close to him. They were
Anyway.
so, yeah.
It was a good day, and
Yes.
All right, after our reorganization photo for the year, which will appear upon our website, I now entertain a motion to adjourn for town meeting.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Excellent. I think this is a record. Maybe we should have more meetings beginning at 6. We were very efficient today.